is unending. Viruet measuring Duran with an uppercut. Did you see him? With his left arm, he pushed Duran against the rope. With his right, he scored with an uppercut. Now it's Duran scoring. These two men won't let up. Vince Lombardi once said, you've got to give everything you've got on every play. These men are giving everything they've got with every blow.
Edwin Viruet moved with his family from Puerto Rico to New York at the age of 2. He later attended PS 64, the same school as former heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson. I remember they had this picture on the wall of him with this crown on his head, Viruet said. I remember thinking, that's a beautiful crown. I wish I had one like that. Viruet quit school after the 8th grade, joining his father to paint houses, and later he went on to work in a factory. Like Mike Tyson after him, Viruet had a hobby of raising pigeons. I have about 250 of them in coops on Columbus Avenue, Viruet said. 100 are baby rollers. I've got to get back to them. I know they miss me. But Viruet's fate seemed destined for the boxing ring. He followed his brother Adolfo to Gleason's gym in the Bronx, where they came under the tutelage of Joe DeMaria. Edwin and his brothers Adolfo, Jose, and Dormel all became gym regulars. Jose died at the age of 21, while Dormel drifted out of the sport. Adolfo and Edwin became successful amateurs. Edwin won the Bantamweight New York Golden Gloves, and later both brothers qualified for the finals of the 126-pound weight class. Both of their hands were raised as champions because of a rule prohibiting brothers from fighting. Viruet turned pro in April of 1969. He won his first 12 fights before meeting another prospect and future junior lightweight champion, Alfredo Escalera. Three months later, Viruet battled to a draw with future junior welterweight champion Sal Mombi over 10 rounds. Viruet later called him the toughest he ever fought. He then found work as a sparring partner for lightweight champion Ken Buchanan as he prepared for a title defense against Roberto Duran. 7 months later, Viruet drew with journeyman Nestor Rojas over 10 rounds before suffering his first defeat, a decision loss to Sammy Goss, in August of 1973. Viruet slipped in the 8th round, but it was judged a knockdown by referee Johnny Lobianco. Viruet finished the fight strong, almost stopping Goss in the final round. At one point, Viruet shoved Goss across the ring and mocked one of the judges, Harold Letterman. Letterman scored the fight for Goss. "I beat Goss," Viruet said afterward, "and I got robbed." 7 months later, Viruet defeated Vilomar Fernandez in convincing fashion for the New York State lightweight title. A year later, he had his biggest fight to date, a bout against the legendary lightweight champion Roberto Duran. Viruet antagonized Duran before the fight, letting him know up front that he wasn't afraid of him. "He called me a sissy," Duran said. "Actually, it was worse, but I don't want to say the word. I like it when my opponents make me mad."
And the green trunks with the white stripe, Viruet in the white trunks with the powder blue stripe. There's a good right hand by Duran. Flush on Viruet's jaw. Viruet just shakes his head saying, "No, I'm not hurt." It's easy to say, it's not that easy to do.
Duran is just awesome, Chuck. You know, a lot of people don't know he punches with either hand, right or left. Just keeps throwing and throwing. Just keeps loading up.
20 seconds left in round 3. Oh, good combination landed by both fighters. They roll into the far ropes. Referee separates the two fighters. 10 seconds left to round 3. Referee Peter Della steps in and separates the two fighters. Viruet on the move again, left to right. Oh, a good combination. And that's the end of round 3. As both fighters look at each other, give each other a look of scorn and walk away to their corner.
Edwin giving it the alley shuffle there, too.
The fight seems to be picking up steam instead of slowing down. Duran's picked up his pace and oh, good left right combination to the jaw of Viruet, and Viruet just casually shrugs it off.
Edwin got off a good left, too, just prior to that left-right combination by Duran.
Yes, he did, Jack. Viruet dancing. That's the combination by Duran.
Duran's just constantly looking to load up, Chuck. You notice that? Just loads up and loads up. Looks for that knockout every time.
Well, maybe that's why he's knocked out 7 straight guys title defenders.
I should say so.
For 135 pounds, he must look like a cannon. Viruet sticking that hand out, holding it in his face, dancing around. Comes in with a left hook that just partially lands on Duran's head. The way this fight is going, this might just jump him right into a title fight.
Look at that jab.
Sticks a good jab in Duran's face. Another jab, a left hook to the head. Put Duran with 3 punches in that series as Duran came in trying to unload. Duran looks a little bewildered to me now, Jack.
Guadalajara Panama, the green trunks with the white trim against Edwin Viruet of New York City in the white trunks and baby blue trim. Non-stop action here, Chuck.
You're right, Jack. Non-stop is the word. Oh, good combination. Duran hit him with a good left uppercut and a right cross. Viruet not moving as much as he was earlier, Jack. He's standing and punching more with Duran, and I think that's a bad move. Because I think the only chance he's got is if he keeps on a move. If you stand and punch with Duran, you're in a lot of trouble. Both fighters now in the corner, separated by referee Tony Della. Duran looking to set him up. Doing a good right hand, a left hook. Got Viruet hurt, I think.
Very hard to get away from Duran, Chuck. You know, he cuts the ring right off on you.
Punching on the crutches.
These guys are unbelievable. You notice they didn't even come out and touch gloves for the last round, Chuck.
Viruet sticks a double jab, lands both of them on Duran. Another combination. Catches Duran coming in.
I'm sorry, this is round 9.
Another
Round
good
9.
combination by Duran, by Viruet. Duran lands a good left hook to the head. Both fighters stung each other on that combination. Well, we've got some great exchanges. Duran trying to set up that right hand. Viruet sticking that jab. Duran sticks the jab, goes going jab to the body. Viruet lands a good double jab to the head, a right to the head.
Great combination by Edwin Viruet.
Good combination by Duran. left hook right hand. And Viruet is giving him the alley shuffle. This is the combination to the head, even though the crowd thought it landed. This fight's going to go all the way, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell by the crowd that Bull was a great fight. As the fight ends, a 10-round bout. Petey Della stops the fight. It's all over. The end of 10 rounds, both fighters are still standing in a great 10-round lightweight bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The winner of this contest on a unanimous decision, Roberto Duran.
I guess you heard it. The crowd doesn't agree, but the winner of this fight is Roberto Duran, the lightweight champion of the world.
I was robbed, Viruet said afterward. I played with him like he was my cupcake. Viruet didn't return to the ring until 9 months later, now having managerial problems. In September of 1976, Viruet's manager, Joe DeMaria, received a phone call from the fighter who was calling him from the office of Don King. Viruet wanted to go with King. DeMaria was hurt, considering that he had been with Viruet since the boxer was 14 years old. He agreed to let King buy him out of the contract for $10,000. The promoter agreed, but never sent the money. One of King's assistants found out that the New York contract DeMaria had on Viruet was expiring in 2 months. King waited, but DeMaria covered his tracks, having another contract on file in California that ran until June of 1978. King had scheduled Viruet to be part of his ill-fated United States Championship tournament to be televised by ABC, but DeMaria ran interference, calling the network executives and telling them that King had no right to put Viruet in the tournament. King later settled with DeMaria for $5,000. When you get old and you're broke, DeMaria said, you get desperate. Viruet fought less frequently under Don King, but secured a rematch with Roberto Duran in September of 1977, this time for Duran's lightweight title. The bad blood between the two continued in the build-up prior to the fight. Viruet arrived at the weigh-in, clutching 2 steel balls in his palm, rotating them back and forth. Duran told Viruet where he would stick those balls before insulting his mother. He cursed my mother, Viruet said. He can curse me all he wants, but my mother should be put aside. The fight was a repeat of their first encounter. Gene Courtney wrote that Duran chased and stalked a challenger who fought like the Russian army against Napoleon, retreating and then stopping long enough to fire a few salvos. Duran kept charging like an uncaged panther, while Viruet couldn't stop the champion's rushes. But Viruet managed to cut Duran, pointing at the now bleeding champion saying, quote, "That was for my mother." Duran was awarded a one-sided decision. Viruet claimed he was robbed again. A year later, Viruet faced former lightweight champion Esteban de Jesus at Madison Square Garden in New York. Viruet scored well early in the fight, beating de Jesus to the punch, but wound up losing a disputed split decision. After the verdict was announced, Viruet once again cried robbery and blamed Don King. "I can't even read," Viruet said after. "I'm from the ghetto. I'm trying to make something out of my life, and they won't let me." He later began yelling obscenities that both the boxing establishment and even God was against him. Viruet stayed out of the limelight for almost 4 years before getting a televised date against a fighter touted as Duran's heir apparent, Edwin Rosario.
He was really reaching, Viruet. Now Viruet starts to find him a little bit, the straight right hand, and Viruet goes down, nods as he bounces up off the rope. That he's all right, but he doesn't look all right. He can scarcely walk. The count reaches 8 and 9. Viruet has fought in his history to indicate to Rosario, "I'm all right." Well, he's not all right. He's wobbly, and the kid's going after him. Grabs him back into the rope. A little bit impatient, perhaps, right here as he's trying to land another big one. It was a wicked right hand that put the veteran down. And he went down to both. He looks all right now. Rosario in the dark trunks, flex to the center of the head by Rosario. There's a good right hand by Viruet. So Viruet counters with perhaps his best punch of the fight. A right hand that went to the jaw of Rosario, but he didn't seem bothered by it. Oh, another right hand, and Edwin Viruet goes down on his back, and I think the fight is over. There's no way he can get up from that. He's going to climb the rope, but it is over. At 1:26 to go in the third round, this fight is over. Edwin Rosario has knocked out Edwin Viruet.
I had diarrhea, Viruet said after. I was forced to fight. I was so weak, eating only soup before that fight. Viruet remained out of the ring for a year, returning to face the undefeated Alvin Hayes in Detroit and getting stopped in one round. Viruet claimed that he took a dive. I wasn't going to be used no more, Viruet said. Not by anyone. That fight marked his final ring appearance. Both Viruet and his brothers became trainers at Gleason's gym. Viruet trained such notables as Glenwood Brown and Alex Stewart before later giving instruction to Hollywood actors like Wesley Snipes. Viruet can now be found training fighters at John's Gym in the South Bronx. I love teaching, Viruet said. I get fun out of it. It is like watching them learn to walk. His battles with Roberto Duran, however, remain the biggest feather in his cap. They all say he's this tough guy, the best lightweight ever, Viruet said. If he's that, then what am I?